everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and the new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. We are here again to have discussions on the things that are happening in Nigeria. There are tensions everywhere in Nigeria, pockets of protest everywhere. From Kanu to Abuja, since yesterday, it has been pockets of protests going from one street to the other, filling stations, all the issues that you can tell happening in Nigeria. And Chief Bola Tinubu is in China, of course, having peace where there is peace. But the breaking news at this very hour is that the National Association of Nigerian Students will and has decided to commence a nationwide protest. They call it shutting down cities across Nigeria starting from September 15th. They have sent their notification, their letter to all security operatives in Abuja and elsewhere to be ready for the Nigerian students' protest. This is coming over the fuel increase that is happening in Nigeria. And of course, we'll also be discussing the NLC that has accused Chief Bola Tinubu of betrayal over the fuel price increase. This is one of the reasons for them accepting the 70,000 naira they deceptively sold to Nigerians as a national minimum wage. And of course, we'll also be bringing you the press release of NNPC, which states clearly that they are facing financial strain due to PMS supply costs impacting supply sustainability. And finally, but not the least, we'll be bringing you the untold story about what is not the mainstream media are not taking on. The questions that are not being asked, which is that the Uando PLC, owned by Chief Bola Tinubu, an oil company managed by Wale Tinubu, hiked market value from 70 billion of just last year to 1 trillion in Bola Tinubu's first year, indicating over 1,000% increase in price share valuation. That is not what is discussed on the mainstream media, but today we are going to have such discussion. And of course, I have well-meaning Nigerians and active citizens who are joining me virtually to have these very discussions. We have, so gentlemen, we are going to be geared up for this because across Nigeria, everywhere, there are discussions mounting. Everybody in tension, anxiety. Tricycle operators in Kanu took the streets yesterday and today protesting the increase in petroleum prices. We have seen people who have sparked in different areas about this very premium motor spirit called the PMS, which has reached as high as 1,200 in some filling stations. But we see the people in mainstream media still talking about 800 and something naira. Where do you get that from? But anyway, aside from the tricycle operators who are making the fuels in Kano State, we have also seen civil society organizations in Abuja taking to the streets. But meanwhile, let's get back to the discussions on the table. I want to start with Mr. Basi, who had earlier in the day shared his opinion on what is happening in Nigeria. But starting with you, Mr. Basi, I want to bring this to your attention that Uando PLC, an oil company that you know well is managed by Wale Tinubu, and that is Chief Bola Tinubu's nephew, have seen market value skyrocket from 74 billion in 2023 to 1 trillion in September of 2024. This represents more than 1,000% increase in valuation in Tinubu's first year in office, despite Nigeria grappling with severe economic challenges, including a cost of living crisis, fuel shortages, etc. In contrast to the struggle faced by many multinational companies like GlaxoSmithKline, Microsoft, there are so many of the people who had exited citing struggles in Nigeria. So why is Uando making so much that the company's share price has surged from 6 naira in September of 2023 to 92 naira by September of 2024, which is this month we just got in. Owando's rapid growth, as you know, followed the 74 billion profit after tax that we saw, a significant improvement from their previous year loss. They were losing before, but since Bola Tinubu come on board, they are the only company making profit in Nigeria amidst the hardship. This company's success, as we've seen, has been met with public scrutiny, as you know, with many attributing the increase in market value to Wale Tinubu's familiar ties to Chief Bola Tinubu rather than corporate performance. These sentiments was further fueled by a January report from People's Gazette, of course we know, which revealed plans to transfer any Nigerian assets to Owando in exchange for any entry into the Nigerian lucrative markets. So, tell me, Mr. Bassi, why do you think that Nigerians are suffering today? The 75 million naira deal, which was publicly confirmed last week with all the parties denying any wrongdoing, do you think it has helped them to propel this much more? Owando is not the only business link to Tinubu that we know. We have known under this administration earlier this year about the 15 trillion contracts for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project, which was awarded to High-Tech, a company led by Gilbert Chosri, and of course, with Sheyi Tinubu being the son of Chief Bola Tinubu sitting at the board. Once again, Mr. Bassi, tell me, are we facing the situation in Nigeria where all this price increase is only going to Owando making so much money and the OVH? What are your thoughts, please? Thank you for coming on board.
Good evening, Mr. Kanu. Good evening, fellow Zoom panelists. Good day, Obidient, worldwide, and listeners, wherever you are listening from. The author of that document was very spot on Owando. And for me, this is just the dividend of Emilokon trying to play out, beginning to manifest in Nigeria. It is surprising that this same company, Owando, over the years has been struggling. I could recall sometimes years back, they were delisted from the stock exchange because of governance issues. And then all of a sudden, you begin to see Owando on the rise. What have changed? Do they have more competent than any other company in Nigeria? Like the author rightly said, in a season where most companies are shutting down the operation because of the harsh economic climate that this government had imposed on Nigerians, you see his own company that is rising up. PZ, a couple of weeks ago, declared a loss in the operations. And yet you are seeing Owando, which is linked to Tinubu's family, experiencing such exponential growth within 1 year. I mean, it's very clear that this is the dividend of Emilokon. We are the one in charge. We are the one in government. And that is what is playing out at the detriment of Nigerians and other companies. There is no level playing field. And of course, he's being favored more than any other company in the oil and gas industry. And that's why you could see some of these things translating. And you also would notice the speed by which that acquisition of Ajib oil was fast-tracked. Meanwhile, we have other acquisitions that have been lingering for years. The case of Mobile Producing Unlimited with Seplat has been dragging for so long, inconclusive up till today. But yet that of Owando was, was done within few weeks. And this clearly shows you that they are using their position to acquire things, to their own family. It has become a family enterprise. And that is what is playing out now. And it's important for Nigerians to take note of some of these things, because some of these things are not being exposed by the mainstream media. They are playing low on it. They are not talking about it. You don't hear much of these activities going on by the mainstream media. So Nigerians should take note of all of this happening and begin to call this government to account. Begin to call the management of Owando, who are also the owners of OBH, to account. Because now you are going to see the next thing is that now that they are the ones solely in charge of NNPC downstream sector. Of course, you begin to see profit declared by OBH that have also been struggling, which necessitated their merger and even trying to be subsumed by NNPC, which at the end of the day, they've also transferred the ownership back to them. So these are some of the corruption that is going on in this government. And it's disheartening to see this kind of monumental corruption going on in the system in Nigeria.
Okay. Okay. On the other hand, I just want to chip in this very particular thing, which is very important. As you notice, the National
Association of Nigerian Students has declared to shut down, according by their words, to shut down cities and to commence a nationwide protest in September 15 due to what you are just explaining. So tell me, do you think that Nigerian students has the capacity more than the NLC to push for this very price of PMS to come down in this administration, as we know that the younger population that we have, energetic population that is in Nigeria, students are many. Do you think that the Nigerian student has the capacity to shut down the operations of the governments in different cities to make this happen?
Just rabble-rousing. I can tell you that. You recall that the same NAN is being controlled by Sheyi Tinubu. You remember when they were trying to do the election, how he was trying to impose their leadership. They are just making noise so that they can also be settled. You can't get anything out of this. You recall that during the August End Bad Governance protest, which would have been the right time for them to join force with Nigerians to go on the protest. What we heard then was that they called off, that they were not part of it. So what has happened within a space of 1 month? What have changed?
Well, what has changed? What was changed? The answer to that, Mr. Bassi, is that
after the protest, instead of the price coming down, it has gone up. So that's what has changed.
That's what has changed.
This is what I'm saying. Because if they had joined force with Nigerians who came out that period to protest, we probably would have had much impact. But what we had then was, they said they were not part of it. Now they want to go on strike. They want to go on protest. They want to shut down Nigeria. Let's see how it goes. We are watching. We are seeing how far they can go, how best they can achieve this. Because when we said this earlier, that we are all a victim of bad governance, nobody listened to us. But now it has, it's now affecting everybody. So we now see the reason why we should join hands, why we should take a position and ensure that we demand for good governance by this government. This is where we are at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly get to Lord K. Okay, quickly, these three things, I'm going to put them
one basket. Talking about the NLC accusing Chief Bola Tinubu of betrayal over the fuel price increase. Recall that they are accepting, according by them, they are accepting 70,000 naira as national minimum wage was as a result of Chief Bola Tinubu's promise not to increase the PMS price. So they feel that Chief Bola Tinubu has betrayed them. Do you think they will want to join the strike now that the price has gone and now that Chief Bola Tinubu has betrayed them according by them? Do you think that they will join the fearless October protest that is being projected? And also this National Union of student unions who are also moving for this very protest, do you think that if they all join their forces in pushing the demand home, do you think that it will make much more sense than having pockets of protest that may not touch Bola Tinubu and this administration? And of course, I also want your comment, Tedley, on the Oando PLC managed by Wale Tinubu, which is now indicating a profit of or a market value of from 70 billion to 1 trillion in the first 1 year of Chief Bola Tinubu's administration. And do you think, or you can attribute this very profit margin or this value in this very market to the fact that Chief Bola Tinubu has given them the sole property as NNPC to administer PMS or other petroleum products in Nigeria? Lord K.
Okay, can you hear me? I cannot hear you. Okay, are you there? I can hear you.
I'm not sure he's there, but we have Tony on the.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's quickly take from Tony. As in Loke seems maybe his mic is not active. So Tony, please. I believe you've had
three major things that we spoke about. The Oando PLC market value surged to 1 trillion in Bola Tinubu's first year, and of course we are talking about the National Association of Nigerian Students, which has said they are going to shut down the cities starting September 15, and of course the NLC, which is accusing Chief Bola Tinubu of betrayal over the hike in fuel price. What are your thoughts on this, please?
Yeah, thank you for having me. And fellow Nigerians, thank you for joining us wherever you are. I think I've said this earlier on, some time ago, that Chief Tinubu cannot affect petroleum price. And I know why I said that. Because one of the reasons is because he has his hands all over the place in the oil industry, oil and gas industry. And he cannot take a decision that will affect his profit margins. So what do you expect? He made himself the petroleum minister. And I'm asking, with all this stuff going on, all these confusing statements, all these cries all over the place from Nigerians, we have a legislature. Why can't they invite the petroleum minister to come and explain some of these irregularities, some of this confusion going on? Why is it that they have to call the Minister of State or the NNPCL manager? Call the petroleum minister himself to come and explain. No, nobody will do that in the legislature. So, what do you want Nigerians to believe or to do with what is going on? When you have a liar, when you have somebody who is full of deceit, you can't trust his words, you can't trust what he says. What do? You can cry from here to heavens, he's not going to listen to you. The NLC, I remember we were saying then that they have cowed to the government, that they are not pushing their agenda strong enough. From 250,000 to 70,000. What do you expect? Now, the presidency is denying it, that Tinubu didn't lie to them.
Yeah, but Tony, very quickly, I don't know if you think that these people are actually in Nigeria, or they are going to the ordinary market
that we all go to. Or I don't know if you visualize what an average Nigerian goes through on a day. Just yesterday alone that this very increase happened, all the people who take whether the tricycle, the Okada riders, all the prices went up. So everything is boiling down to the common man. I want to hear from you what you feel that Nigerians at this very time can do. I want you to, tell us your opinion about this very same, the students. Given the nature of their demography, as in the younger ones, do you think that they had the potential to actually go on this very protest and make Bola Tinubu to go back or remove bring back the subsidy? Do you think they have the capacity to make that happen, or do you believe what Mr. Bassi said? His opinion is of the position that NAN is already consumed by or is already involved with the administration, and they are coming now to cite is it's like people who are crying more than the bereaved, as the case might be, that they don't have a bite. Do you think that NANS don't have a bite, or you think that their conscience is coming back to haunt them, that they are moving to set the record straight this time? What are your thoughts, please?
Their conscience is bugging them. Because the last protest and bad governance, they stayed back. Now they want to come out and show that they're angry. But the thing is, they can try. This is their future. They have to show something against what is going on. They have to, show that they're not happy with what is going on. But my take is, we all know how bad things are. Those people that are not concerned in government, because it's their turn now, they have all the money in the world to do whatever they want to do. They don't give much damn about ordinary Nigerians. They are busy accumulating their own share of the national cake. That's what they care about. Some of them are just criminals. And we have a bunch of legislators. I don't know whether they're afraid. They're not doing their work. Now, NANS, the student union, should try to coordinate all this group here doing a demonstration today, that group there doing demonstration 2 days later. It's not going to work. It's not going to face this man. It's not going to face them, the government. They should coordinate with other groups. That's how they can be effective. That's how demonstrations can be effective. They should start planning with even market women, everybody, labor unions, all the professional unions. Let everybody come out, and if all these groups, CSOs, can come together and plan this and do it together jointly, I think it will have the best chance of succeeding. But again, I say, Tinubu at this point in time cannot really, doesn't have the power to change what is going on, because his interest is all over the place in that area. So come together, the tricycle riders, the people doing their own stuff in Abuja. Let us coordinate. Let everybody come together and sit down and plan this well. Haphazard demonstrations is not going to work. It's not going to work. So, what does it take, Nigerians, to fix this country? I ask. We all know what the problems are. We all know what is going on. But we're not doing what is required. It requires collective effort on everybody, on every group, to say to these people, enough is enough. Do things the right way. Discard this personal interest you guys have, and then face the people you say you're governing. Hear them out. And without massive demonstration, protest, nothing is going to happen. No. Because these guys, I mean, I think they have wolves in their ears. Unless we force out the wolves in their ears, they're not going to listen to us. They will continue to do what they're doing because they have the police ready to shoot, which is a different subject altogether. Why should police be armed with guns to manage demonstrations? It doesn't happen anywhere except in Nigeria and some other autocratic regimes.
But the thing is, again,
you're supposed to use it.
Yeah. So, but the thing again is that, as you know, Tony, that even the police are not let out of the bag because now that fuel is going over 1,000 naira,
they are also gonna use. They must go with their jerry cans to buy this fuel to use in that generator they call "I Pass My Neighbor," as the case might be. Whatever why they call that "I Pass My Neighbor," I wouldn't know. But I'm just trying to say that they are not buying in any other market other than the market where we are. I also share with you of the opinion that the National Association of Nigerian Students may have realized their mistakes in the last protest that happened, contrary to Mr. Bassi's belief. However, we keep our ears and eyes open, like you also indicated. If all of them could put up their energy together and then have a peaceful protest, whether it is 1 day or 2 days as the case might be, occupy the whole places and make Chief Bola Tinubu to realize that it's Nigerians that are now talking to him. Because obviously, he knew before going to China that there's going to be an increase. As you know, he is the Minister of Petroleum, and there is no way an increase will happen without his authorization. So let's be guided with the fact that Chief Bola Tinubu knew that this very increase is coming, and he went to China and leave us all here to bear the brunt until he comes back. But anyway, that's happening in Nigeria. Mr. Kinney has, of course, mentioned the fact, the surge in Owando's PLC's market value, indicating over 1,000% in valuation to the tune of 1 trillion, is attributed to the fact that Nigerians are suffering while one company is making so much money in the industry. Now, I don't know if Lord K has finally unmuted to give us his take in this very conversation. Lord K, are you there now? Okay, I think his audio is still muted. So, Mr. Bassi, your final words before we leave. This very trending issue, especially the issue of people falling in the streets now, it's like it has become normal. Every day we hear somebody has fallen on the street, and it's all of hunger. We see some people who obviously cannot even do 1 square meal. We are talking about before 2 or 3, but now not even 1 meal in a day, Mr. Bassi. Do you think that this is sustainable, given the fact that some people are still in support of maintaining that this subsidy that is causing all of this should continue to be maintained? Or you advocate for a complete callback to the main subsidy that has been going on during the time of Buhari? Recall that Chief Muhammadu Buhari, the former president, said Nigerians are going to miss him. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Mr. Kanu, once again. It is not surprising that Nigerians are falling on the street, because the level of starvation in this country is alarming. We've never had it this way. We've never experienced this in the history of this country. Even at the thick of civil war, nothing like this happened. So it is very obvious that Nigerians are walking the street with empty belly, empty stomach. And a little thing, of course, they will give way. So we should expect more of this, because, like I said, this government does not have the wherewithal. They don't have the capacity to change, to turn around the situation. Because on a daily basis, we are seeing things getting worse. We are not seeing the trajectory of improvement in the economy. And so, the whole issue of around subsidy, I've always said, is because it was poorly managed, and up till this moment is badly managed. There is no political will, no capacity to think of what can be done to get ourselves out of this situation. You see, because removing subsidy and then liberalizing the forex market was the worst decision any government can take at the same time, simultaneously. And then in doing this, there was no plan to cushion in the effect of what the removal of subsidy was going to bring. So they were caught napping because somebody made a careless pronouncement on a day he was not supposed to make it. And so that's snowballing to where we are. And what we should also think now at this point in time is for him to walk back. Just like he said, subsidy is gone. He needs to walk it back and said, okay. But you know, Nigerian leaders, they will never accept they've made a mistake. They will never accept they have made a mistake in their policy articulation and pronouncement. So what I think we should do at this point in time is for this government to walk back his policy, and at least to be able to restore back confidence in the economy, and see how Nigerians can, be able to manage the situation. Because as we speak today, the entire burden is being passed on the end user. When that Okada man buys fuel at that exorbitant rate, he will pass it on. He's not going to absorb it because he's not a Father Christmas. The same thing, that market woman who is trying to bring her goods to the market to sell, when she or he pays that exorbitant rate to bring out the goods to the market, will pass on that burden to the consumer. So consumers are now like the beast of burden in Nigeria. Incidentally, because they are the beast of burden, there is no protection for every consumer. And so we are left vulnerable. There is nothing to help them pushing in the effect of these bad policies by this government. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I will quickly say, Tony, just take 1 minute for
your final comments on this, especially the issue. I think you have not touched the fact of NLC that is accusing Chief Bola Tinubu of betrayal. Can you give us your last words on that?
Well, I think I mentioned it before that when you negotiate with a liar, when you negotiate with a deceitful person, what you get? You don't get the facts. You don't know what is going on in his mind, that he's trying to trick you to get what he wants. The NLC have seen it. They now have the experience that you cannot trust this government. And that the best thing to do when you fight hard to get what you want, because the other side is doing everything in its power to deceive you, to lie to you, to just doing things to send you away so that they can continue what they're doing. So you have to be strong to protest.
We also got some people from the presidency who had also said that there was no such agreement between the federal government and NLC as regards to accepting the 70,000 naira. And of course, we've just come to notice
there is that there was no agreement whatsoever signed as regards to keeping the price of PMS in the same place as much as the 70,000 naira minimum wage. So obviously, the federal governments are saying that the NLC citing betrayal is not correct.
The presidency gave them two options. And the two options were take the 70 and then we negotiate in 2 years' time. Or we are going to, if you insist on the 250, we are going to increase the fuel price. And they decided, well, we don't want to see the fuel price increase. Let's take the 70 and hopefully in 2 years' time, we'll come back to negotiate. It wasn't, I don't think it was written on paper, but that was what they said. Even then, when they finished the negotiations, that's what NLC came out to say.
But now the federal government is saying that is not correct. And I wonder why NLC go into that high discussion without getting some sort of document signed or as regards to that. But anyway.
You are dealing with people who are deceitful, who are cunning, who are liars. That's why.
Okay, thank you so much for your opinion. Thank you, Mr. Bassi, for your own contribution
here. And of course, we'll be missing Lord K, who is unavoidably strained by the process here, as we can see that the mic remains mute. Then let's say our final words for this, because we have to go now. Every Nigerian out there is facing one serious issue or the other. There is a lot of people who is facing very serious, severe hardship. I encourage you to have hope on each day. But why I do that is that hope is something that is very, very likely to make you feel good. But then action needs to be taken by the citizens. And that's why we're advocating for active citizens, wherever they are, to join force with the other well-meaning Nigerians to also speak up when they see bad things happening. It does not matter the kind of protest that you do. Protests happen in different ways. The people who you see shouting at the filling stations are having their kind of protest. You see the people who are taking their vexation in different ways, they are having their sort of protest. Protest comes in different forms. But if we are able to come together, both the NLC, both the National Union of Students and many other market women and all of that, this federal government led by Chief Bola Tinubu must listen to Nigerians and return that subsidy. If that is what is making us feel this hardship, if that is what is making people to fail and feel in the streets of today due to hunger, he needs and must reverse this subsidy. The same way he said it. It just depends on us on how we want it done. We'll continue coming on each day to give hope, and we'll continue encouraging you guys to keep on the hope that a new Nigeria is certainly possible. Until tomorrow when we come your way again, thank you for watching. Like, share so that other Nigerians will also know that we are live and we are calling out the people at the mainstream media for not saying the truth about Owando PLC being the only company in Nigeria at this hard time to make a profit and market value going up to 1 trillion naira. Thank you so much. Until tomorrow, bye for now.